Today we're going to talk about why leads will explode your business. Man, I wish I would have seen this when I first got started. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeff Gamble. I'm actually a business owner, traditionally, also a network marketer, and currently a John C. Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach. And the reason we're going to talk about why leads will actually explode your business is I know a lot of people get into that situation where they're like, what do I do now? I've talked to my 5, 6, 7, 8 friends and I'm at a loss and I don't know what to do. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Number one is you're going to have to learn how to contact, invite. You're going to have to learn how to present. You're going to have to learn how to close. You're going to have to learn third party, and you're going to have to learn how to get people to events. And you're going to have to learn how to go yourself. Whether that be a phone call, webinar, whatever your particular line of business sends you to, you need to learn to master those and then get other people to those events. If you don't have events, as Eric Worre would say, start one. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. If you live in the woods and there's just a deer and an antelope and a squirrel, you might need to go somewhere else to do your event. Maybe do it online, maybe do a phone call, do something. Have some kind of gathering where more people can get together and hear others' testimonials of your product or service and testimonials of, sponsoring, recruiting, and making it happen. But let's talk about leads. The first thing that I want to talk about leads is a lot of people say, well, don't do leads. That's not smart because leads are a source of new business. Generally people are like, well, you shouldn't do leads, but you should go cold contact. Well, cold contact is fucking leads. I mean, that's what leads are. They're people you don't know. And here's what I know. There are more people you don't know than people you do. So it's probably a good idea to start meeting some people you don't know and getting good at that. Why? Because it's unlimited. There's an unlimited amount of people that you don't know. There's a limited amount of people that you know, but there's an unlimited people that you don't know. So you can start with that. Now, I'm not going to get into where to get leads. There's lots of sources. I will tell you there's good and bad leads, and we can talk about that in another video, but I'm just talking about why leads will explode your business. Here's why leads. Number one, it's unlimited. Number two, it overcomes the fear of running out of people, because some people will create a list and they're like, I really only know 10, 15 people. I mean, I know some people from the last town or the last business I was in. I know some people from way back, but people get divorced, people get remarried, people move jobs, people change religions. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens, and then people are like, I don't want to go back to that situation and even talk to any of those people, which is fine. So lead overcomes the fear of talking to somebody new that you don't know. A lead is somebody who's looking for what you have rather than trying to push what you have on top of somebody who doesn't know. And I cover that, in the way that I've always, contacted people. I said, do me a favor. I want to show you what I'm doing. So if you run into the right person, you can refer them to me. Can you do me that favor? And most people are like, yeah, what are you doing? I said, I want to show you what I'm doing outside of work. And they're like, cool, what are you doing? And then I'm able to tell them that. And I did another video on how to contact and how to invite and how to actually present that opportunity, and then how to close based on that exact same process. Well, it's nothing more than a process of pre-qualifying. You need to pre-qualify your leads. I actually have always done it based on scripts, because I can hand a lead and a script to anybody. I can take anybody from any background and help them create success very, very quickly with leads. I've not been always able to duplicate the same thing with saying, well, go talk to the people you know, because they're like, I'll be real honest, I don't like the people I know. And my thing is you want to do business with people you like. And if they don't like anybody that they know, there's probably some personal issues, some back history. They might need some personal development. The people they're around might need some personal development. But I believe some people just get stuck. They get stuck in situations with people they don't like and places they don't like. And they just need an answer. And the answer is leads. Sometimes we sponsored this guy he was out in Oklahoma, but he was about 10 miles outside of Ada, Oklahoma. And that's not the end of the world, but if you stand on his porch, you can see it from his house. I mean, the end of the world is right there. I mean, there's nobody. He's like, well, the nearest gas station's about 45 minutes away, and I don't run into neighbors. I don't really see people. And I was like, well, there's a big building in Ada, Oklahoma. I only know that because one of the corporate headquarters for a company was there. And he's like, oh, yeah, I always wondered what that was. I'm like, how long have you lived in that town? He's like, 45 years. So he's lived in the town 45 years, drove past a corporate headquarters for years, has no idea what it is. I mean, he just lives out in the middle of nowhere. He goes, well, how can I do this? I'm like, well, you can do leads. And he's like, well, what does that mean? I was like, well, we're going to get you some people to talk to that are all over the country, and you just explain to them this and say this over and over and over again and find out the ones who qualify and then move them through the process. That's it. He's like, well, that sounds pretty easy. He was a forklift driver in a warehouse that was sub-zero. So he wore like a parka and snow goggles and the whole 9 yards. And the only people he talked to were also in that warehouse, and they would all go out to Denny's. I don't know where the hell that was, but I mean, they drove like 30 minutes to all go out to breakfast. It was one Denny's out in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma, and that's where they got together. And he started doing leads. He started putting us on the phone with people. Amazing. He actually recruited more people than the average network marketer ever recruits. For those of you who don't know, if you can recruit more than 3 people, you basically beat 95% of the people in network marketing. More than 3. So you don't have to work really, really hard to get really, really good and really, really successful. Some people don't even know that. They've recruited like 5 people and they think they're a failure. You're actually a success. You're more successful than 95% of the people who get into network marketing. Now, you need more than 5 to make some good money, but 5's a good start. So, care less. You get to care less because if somebody says, I'm really not interested in this, you have a whole stack of people that you can talk to. You're like, cool, hey, that's great. No problem. You're not who we're looking for. I'm not who you're looking for. Have a good day. Your posture goes up. Your posture goes up because there's not a fear of running out of people. It's a faster learning process. And the reason I say it's a faster learning process is I can sit somebody down in maybe just a few hours on a Saturday. I can help them call through. They can learn the pre-qualification. They can learn the invite. They can learn basically the presentation all in the same day. And they're like, okay. And I said, well, when you get somebody who's finally interested, this is what we say to them. And they're like, well, this is easy. I'm like, yeah, it is. The hard part is the discipline of keeping up with the same thing, and not changing it. Because here's what you'll want to do. You'll want to change it somehow. You'll want to add something or change something, more your style, more your flavor. And it took a long time for the people who are really good at this to get the wording right, to get the process right. But once you have the process right and once you have the wording right, you will produce the result. Let me tell you what happens when you get creative and you don't follow any of that process. It's like trying to bake a cake out of order. Try to add the eggs before you add anything else and try to, bake part of it before you put all the ingredients together. It doesn't work. There is not only an ingredient list, but there's an ingredient list and there's a process to bake a cake. Now, I burn everything, so I shouldn't be talking about baking, but there's just a process that you have to learn how to do before the cake comes out right. So you got to follow that. The same thing is true when you go to recruit. It's not that baking's that difficult. You just have to follow the damn directions. That's it. You just have to read them, follow them. And every time you bake it, if you baked a cake a day, in 30 days you could bake a cake just like that. You wouldn't have to read anything. You wouldn't have to go through the ingredients. You wouldn't be so mechanical at adding everything because you're like, okay, I got this. I've done it 30 times. The same thing is true when you start recruiting, and you can recruit on demand when you have that down. So, what do you think of this video? What do you think of this process? What do you think of maybe starting leads? If you don't know how to do leads, inbox me. I'll show you how to do leads. If you don't know where to get leads, inbox me. I can show you where to get leads. If you want to know if I sell leads, I don't sell leads. I don't sell leads. I don't sell a package of leads. I don't give a shit about that. That's not what I'm in this for. That's not why I'm doing the video. I'm doing this video because I'm trying to help some people because I get so many questions about stupid crap. And this isn't a stupid question, but I do get a lot of stupid questions. And I just help people through that process. So, coaching, training, whatever you need, that's kind of all the questions that I've ever got. That's what I'm putting on these videos. So that way, people can get some answers. Some real answers. Because I've seen some people get some answers, and I'm like, those answers aren't even close to correct. How many people has that person sponsored who's training you? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, let's go find out. And they've never sponsored a single person. They've written a book, and they've got all kinds of stuff, but they've never recruited 5 people. When you get to a point where you've recruited 500 people, I've recruited 500 people frontline, built some big teams. you learn all this stuff, and you don't get it wrong because 500 people got in. So with that, if you want more information on stuff like this, connect to me on WorkWith JeffGamble, WorkWith JeffGamble on Facebook, or you can go to WorkWithJeffGamble.com. Or if you see this video, just follow it back to where it is, like it, share it, and thanks everybody for watching.